Thanks, everybody. So anybody up for karaoke later? If you want to challenge me, go see Ben and put your name down. I'm going to talk about AI and IKE, your internal knowledge environment.
Okay.
Okay, I don't have any slides yet. So.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, guess what? You never closed your eyes. No, we're not.
Anymore when I kiss your lips.
Oh, man.
All right, we're getting ready for karaoke. So.
Top Gun, yeah. Again, you really don't want to see me sing. If you see me sing, it's too late. We're good. We didn't even get to finish the bit. Oh well. I'll let you do this.
All right. Well, I don't. Cool. So I'm going to start off with some of the problems that we solve with AI in our new product. And I'm not sure how this mic works with my voice yet, but we'll figure it out. As you guys know, working in tech, being Filipino, you probably have to solve a lot of technical debt while you're FaceTiming your cousins and debugging code. What we solve for, are some of these bullet points that you see on the screen. I think we've all run into this over the years, whether it's Magento or some other language that you're working with. So our vision 3 years ago was to connect all of the systems in an IT software team into AI and use AI to synthesize intelligence and coalesce it and collate it and make it useful in your day-to-day workflow. We'll show you a couple examples of how, but the system is too big and too flexible at this point to show everything during this 20-minute presentation. Our goal is to empower teams, whether you're a project manager, QA specialist, a support technician, an engineer. We want to empower teams to interact with AI where you're already working. So instead of switching over to a browser and using Claude or OpenAI, we want you in your IDE, interacting with AI that's working with all the systems underneath the hood and behind the scenes. We want you in Slack, Teams, or Discord, working with your team socially, having a conversation, and writing Jira tickets automatically without having to do a lot of work. So here's a first use case. If somebody could press play on the video and back, I'm going to let Mark explain this use case from a project manager role, and I'll take a little break. Or can I start it from the remote? Is that possible? Or can somebody in back click play? We'll see if we get any audio. So I don't think audio is running through from the video. Is that something you guys can adjust the level on? No? I'll try to explain it. The resolution on the screen is a little hard to read the text, and it would be a little bit better if Mark would explain it. But what Mark is doing is interacting with AI directly in Slack to build user stories for converting a custom Magento 2 module to the new app builder framework. And under the hood, what Maru is doing is leveraging app builder platform documentation, AI code search that's pulling all the custom code in, analyzing it for how to convert it into the app builder methodology, and then evaluating that into Jira tickets and publishing the Jira tickets directly into Jira with code examples for each of the parts, while assessing the complexity of all the other custom modules in the system that need to be accounted for at the same time. And I'll probably skip to the next slide just to show you guys another use case that's more engineering focused. This one's more project management focused. If we fast forwarded to the end of the video, he lands in the browser where you can see that from this Slack conversation, Jira tickets, acceptance criteria, code samples for app builder, and evaluation of the current custom code in the system have been completed and done correctly. So this next one, if you guys could hit play on it, it's a little bit shorter. And when I explain the concept of projects, this slide might make a little bit more sense. But we've effectively tied Maru up at a project level as an MCP server and made it available to Cursor. The conversation that Mark's having is to take our BOPIS requirements for checkout and evaluate SMS and email notifications and build a new API notification endpoint within our current custom code base that takes our requirements into account. And he's asking Maru to provide an implementation plan for a specific Jira ticket to Cursor. So Maru is taking all the information in Confluence and across multiple Jira tickets to provide Cursor with the knowledge that it needs to implement the feature and requirement successfully. Cursor's taking that implementation plan, taking the best practices from the Magento platform documentation that lives in Maru and is up to date, creating a plan and implementing it correctly. So it's doing quite a bit better job than it would do on its own, and with a whole lot less human interaction in the prompting system while it's going. When he's done asking Cursor to make this implementation, he asks Cursor to create test steps for the implementation that it just made and publish them as a comment on the ticket. We'll let it get there, which is in just a minute. So this is adding some QA testing steps to the ticket as a comment. I don't know if anybody else can read that, but I've seen it enough that I can tell you what it says. So Cursor's now leveraged its tie to Maru and added all of these testing steps into the ticket. So I'll talk a little bit about how we did this and how the software is set up. I'm not sure if I can advance the slide anymore, but if I could have some help, that would be great. Could somebody jump to the next slide? Can we skip the video and go to the next slide? Oh, there we go. So this is our account dashboard. And like I said before, we've made the interfaces inside of the IDE, messaging platforms, and some of the other systems that people do work in. This is our analytics part of the dashboard. So one of the things that we've seen as a struggle with AI is understanding how well your team's adopting it, how well of an impact it's having on your implementations, on your clients, how much time you're saving, what's the ROI on that, how many people on your team are using it consistently. As we all know, learning new tools can require us to change our behavior and our practices and take time to effectively implement. So this is a way for us to help understand AI across our projects, teams, and users. And as I mentioned before, we have this concept of project. So what you saw in Cursor was a single project acting as an MCP server for that Cursor instance and exercise. These projects represent a collection of connectors. You can see some of these projects have 7 connectors, 3 connectors, 27 connectors. This is an example of a real-world project connected to 2 different Confluence instances, one for Adobe Commerce and one for a PIM core implementation. 2 different code bases, one for Adobe Commerce, one for a PIM core implementation. 2 different Jira systems, again, PIM core and Adobe Commerce. Google Workplace, in this case, these guys are using email and Google Drive, and Adobe Commerce documentation, which is going to stay up to date with everything that Adobe publishes, which is constantly changing. So the AI will stay up to date no matter what you're doing. So when you add all these things together, you enable AI to have the right context at the right time, in the right place, whether it's understanding your platform, your code, your project management movement, your activities, the last commits from your entire team across a repo over a time period. And it can work with all that in an analytical way and synthesize results that you ask of it. This slide I wish was in better focus for you guys. This is another example of asking Maru what Maru can do for a specific project that has about 35 connectors tied into it. So it talks about document search, code search, agency, being able to create code, being able to create code recommendations across all of these repositories, interacting with Google Workspace. I think this one interacts with Notion or ClickUp as well. And here's another example, working in Slack, asking Maru, or actually this is in the account portal, but asking Maru to check and see if any emails in my inbox had any relationship to any of the tickets that were assigned to me in Jira. So by enabling AI to have agency across systems, it has the ability to provide context without you having to go and figure out what you need to copy and paste into a conversation history. And it does it really, really well. And from there, it's enabled to do things like write code, create documents, create new information, create documentation for code that may have just been written, which shrinks the effective working time for getting things done dramatically. So as an example, one client asked Maru to go check the statement of work in Google Drive and the Jira tickets that are open. Maru came back, found the statement of work on its own, reviewed 138 Jira tickets, determined which ones were in scope and out of scope, and provided a reason why, and then provided it as a spreadsheet that was downloadable, and it got that done in about 5 minutes. Our system is extremely secure. We're SOC 2 Type 2 certified. We use Auth0 single sign-in for all of our access control levels and scope. As you can see, we've got kind of a user management and role management system. Another interesting thing that we've done is we've made it embeddable. So we can take any of those projects, which is a collection of connectors, and embed a UI in any web space to be able to interact with that project. So for example, if you needed to enable one of your customers' product support teams with everything in Zendesk and everything in their knowledge base, plus everything that marketing had made that lives in a Google Drive, we can add all those connectors to a project. We can then make a really embeddable script that you can provide in their support portal. And now they've got access to Maru across all of their information silos and ecosystems to enable them to work. And that's it. And I thought I couldn't keep it to 20 minutes, but I'm ahead. So, cool. Thanks.